your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.
Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way Galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, California, Los Angeles to be specific. Hello everybody and welcome to a very special episode of Agree to Disagree here at TheNewAmericanMedia.com, and the new place where you come to get information, the new way of digging into a story, the new way of hearing about things that are happening. The corporate propaganda, that machine is broken down, crumbling, failing. It is done. It's over. It's never coming back the way that it used to be as long as we have an internet. Let that sink in for a second. As long as an internet exists, we are never going to be ruled by the corporate media elites ever again. So now I've done shows with Stuart Rhodes from Oath Keepers, and we talked about the internet being our best weapon in defense of liberty, freedom, having fun, doing the things we want to do, having a good time, being as responsible as we can be so as not to harm another individual, but still living our own life our own way, not being told what to do, not being spied on. Unfortunately, the United States government has been creeping outside of our windows, looking through the bushes, lurking, listening to your family, watching your family, you. What are you up to? What are you saying? WikiLeaks has done, yet again, something amazing. It's, I can count on a couple of, it's only a few times where vindication, that's probably the best way to phrase this, vindication has occurred. I would say Edward Snowden with the NSA revelations. And this one is a big one. You know, I've had tape over my camera for a long time. I've known about this stuff for a long time, but it sure is nice to get some vindication. So you're not the crazy guy with the tinfoil hat in the room, oh, you're so paranoid. No, man, it's just happening, and I've been researching and paying attention. Shouldn't you have done a little bit of that? And at least if you're not going to do that, maybe not make fun of the people that are doing the heavy lifting. Well, look, I'm blessed today to bring in John McAfee, American computer programmer. I mean, this guy, we interviewed him during the Libertarian run. He was in contention, trying to become the Libertarian candidate for president in 2016. And that didn't happen, but him and Judd Weiss definitely got a lot of people thinking and talking. And we've been talking with him ever since, and I just said, look, man, you're my phone a friend for this type of thing. Walk me through what we know about this leak, about what WikiLeaks has done. Give me all the information that I can get about Weeping Angel, about this Vault 7 data dump. Umbrage. Umbrage is the one thing. Man, is this the most important thing. I'm just going to bring John in and we can talk about it. Seriously, I could do a show yapping on my own, but why have a guest if I'm just going to ramble? So let's get John into the program. Maybe we'll start with umbrage.
Hello? Umbrage. Hello. Good word.
Yes, it is a good word. John, you are live, sir. Welcome to the program on Agree to Disagree here at the New American Media. It's a pleasure to have you back. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm not very agreeable tonight, so I may not agree.
All right, then we can agree to disagree on that point. Well,
perfect.
Let me. Yeah, you heard me talking about umbrage in the open, and I think that's one of the most significant things about this data dump from WikiLeaks. I'm just going to kind of step aside if you can maybe set us up on what do we need to know about what just happened today. We all woke up to a different world, I think.
Well, I think the CIA just got nuked. Literally. I do not see how they are going to recover from this. We have a new administration who is likely to dismantle that entire organization and restart from scratch, and which I pray to God is what's going to happen. So basically, WikiLeaks dumped an astonishing variety of records on us that indicated that the CIA has basically been a puppet for Obama for the past well, who knows for how long, certainly the past 4 years, to the point that the amount of money he was dumping into the hacking group that was hacking American citizens and American businesses was so great that they created a GIF showing Obama showering $100 bills in the air, as sort of a thanks. I mean, it blows my mind.
Yeah, what we have seen right now, back to the umbrage that, man, I got so many questions. We only have you for a half hour, so I got to try to be as quick as I can here. So forgive me if I'm sped up a little bit. But with what Obama's been doing with CIA as the puppet, real quick, it's a question I just thought of as a follow-up. Does that make it even more remarkable, whether you like him or not, does that make it even more remarkable that Trump was able to beat Hillary Clinton?
Yes, good heavens. It makes me wonder about my sanity. Because, how could this have happened? I think what happened is that I think the old administration became so prideful in their powers, given that the CIA was listening to everybody,
right,
or at least had the power to listen to everybody. Every Windows system in the world, every Android system, and every iOS system, the CIA could instantaneously get into your operating system through a secret backdoor. And when businesses stopped cooperating with the CIA, they would plant employees within those businesses that would create those backdoors. So, they had you by the short curlies either way. But if you had any of those systems, then if they wanted to watch you, listen to you, read your emails, your text messages, look at your contacts, listen to your voice, watch you, piece of cake, trivial. And they have been doing this. I'm still trying to find out when it started. I do not have a clue, but certainly for the past few years.
All right, I got another question here then. Whether Pizzagate, and we go to another famous dump, but this was actually more of Podesta falling victim to a phishing scam. So this wasn't even hacked, by the way. At least that's my understanding, John. It was a phishing scam which he fell for. Right, he fell for a phishing scam. But whether it's Pizzagate or whether it's all of the child abuse rings that are happening, whatever you want to call it, it just makes you wonder sometimes about the people that are doing heinous things and getting away with it. If allegedly the good guys are listening to everything, you think about the Pablo Escobars, who just came out and said he was a CIA asset. I mean, everything's hitting the fan right now, John. I mean, where do you pick some of the most significant things that are going to shake out of this? There's so much to talk about.
Well, I think that there will be a total restructuring of our covert agencies. Whether this will reach into the military or not, I do not know. But certainly, even externally, even without these dumps, it became really clear that the FBI and the NSA, at least, had so overreached their constitutional bounds that it was unbelievable. And the ambition that James Comey and the FBI had was so far beyond acceptable that it boggled my mind that they were asking for the things they were asking for. For example, the San Andreas iPhone, that they went to Apple and said, we would like a master key to all iPhones so that when this happens again, we can just get right into it. And I called bullshit. I went on CNN last year and I debated the FBI mouthpiece, Mr. Rogers, one of the slickest men I've ever spoken to, by the way, for 15 minutes. And finally, at the end of that 15 minutes, he said, "Well, sir, maybe we can work together on this." And I knew that was bullshit. The FBI would never even, acknowledge that I existed outside of the realm of television.
Right, right. I mean, I remember being there at Judd's when I first met you, and we talked about that a little bit, and then we brought you in in the run up to Orlando when you were running for the Libertarian presidential nomination, and yeah, the whole San Bernardino thing was really weird. It shot your spidey senses tingling from the very beginning.
Absolutely.
You didn't believe a lick of it.
It put shivers down my back. I said, this can't possibly be happening. Isn't this America?
Yeah.
But yes, it was happening. It was happening, and it was happening apparently not just in the FBI and the NSA, but in the CIA and perhaps every one of our covert agencies. We have turned inward. The bulk of the CIA hacking was not done against a foreign power or a hostile power even, unless each individual American citizen is viewed as a hostile power. No, it was done against us, American citizens, American industry, to the point where when industry would not cooperate, as I said, the CIA would manage to get one of their agents planted inside, a brilliant young hacker perhaps, and the first thing they would do is put back doors into all of the systems they were creating. This includes Google, Apple, Microsoft. Almost every one of our high-tech companies in America have either willingly or unwillingly cooperated with the CIA to the point that none of us are safe from spying on any aspect of our lives, knowing where we are, what we're saying, what we look like. Are we having sex with our spouse? Who are my contacts? Who did I last call? How long did I call, and what did I say? Are any of my – and by the way, they have data analysis systems so that you don't have to have a human listening. All of this data is being filtered by massive supercomputers that analyze and look for keywords, key phrases, using AI to determine if what you're talking about should be listened to by a human being. And if it should, then they kick it out. I mean, do you hear words like congressman, senator, whatever they're looking for? Then it would go to a higher level of AI analysis. And at some point they say, this person's probably doing something that we don't like, so put the alert out and let's have a human step in and start monitoring this bastard full time.
And that is really how they've put this machine together. It's very Terminator 2. It's very, it starts to become automated, and it just becomes this thing that's omnipresent. It's all over, and it just works on its own accord. It's Skynet.
Yes, it's Skynet. And I have no doubt that as we dig deeper, we are going to discover that everyone who has a smartphone, a mobile device, a laptop, or a desktop computer is being electronically monitored, potentially monitored by a human being. Now, what they have done is developed a system that will allow a few number of people to monitor everyone, not just in America, perhaps in the whole world, and are doing it.
Wow. And we're paying for the privilege of it. It's not even the Orwellian TVs that watch.
That's right.
We shell out $900 for it.
Yeah, $700, $800, $900, plus special software that you're buying, or even if you don't pay for it, the software that you're downloading. Trust me, sir, there's nothing free in life. So when you download a free app that looks like it took millions of dollars to develop, then something's wrong. It isn't free. Maybe you didn't pay money for it, but you're paying something far worse than money. That is the total loss of your privacy. And for these things, there might actually be a real human listening, watching, monitoring.
But even if they're not, John, even if they're not, it's being stored. When you get flagged to a certain level, now they're putting your stuff onto the hard drive. Now they're using up their valuable data space for you to be used at a later date to pull something out, to get some leverage, to make you do what they want and dance to their drum. Yes,
absolutely. Or if not that, I mean, the bad hat hackers are going in and emptying your Bitcoin wallet, or they're watching you while you do online banking. And if your balance is above a certain percentage, they kick that out as well, because it's not just the U.S. that does this. It's organized hacking groups throughout the world. It's just that the U.S. has become the world's master at monitoring its own citizenry.
And you think about Facebook and Zuckerberg getting into to China and the different kinds of internet that they're going to allow, where they're going to have corporate control of things that can be, filtered and slid away from the rational debate. They called it the Overton window of the allowable realm of debate. They will just kick certain ideas to the curb. And this really is newspeak. This is new thought. This is Orwellian.
Yes.
I mean, everybody now that we know that our devices, I mean, Weeping Angel was telling us that the Samsung smart TVs are listening to us. We've been covering up our phones for years with these little cameras. We've known they were spy phones, but only now we're not crazy. For the first time in a long time, there's not tinfoil hat on our head, John.
I know, and see, I've been saying this for years. I had no idea it was happening to the extent it was happening by our own government.
Yeah,
I had no clue, but I knew it was happening. I mean, I published my telephone number in Business Insider last year for one reason only. I want people to hack me because I need to keep up with the world of hackers and their new techniques. And just this past year, I've been hacked probably 5 times, where it is so sophisticated I cannot possibly unravel it. And now I can understand why. I mean, my tax dollars have been funding the program to spy upon me and you and every citizen. It is horrific. I am dumbfounded. I've been thinking all day long. I'm in an acid flashback. This has to be it. But the more I dig into it, then the more horrific it becomes. And the most horrific of all for me was the image that these hackers put together of Obama showering them with $100 bills. You know, the largesse. They were thanking the administration. You can imagine they were.
All right, hang on. We got a little bit of a glitch there. We're back. John, you still there?
I'm here, yes, sir.
Okay, you had a glitch. If you could repeat the last thing, maybe the last 10 seconds of where you were at.
Right. It's just that, as I said, I felt like I was having an acid flashback because the immense invasion of personal and industrial enterprise privacy is beyond imagination. And I just the thing that horrified me most was the image of Obama showering hackers with $100 bills.
Yeah, I can.
That was created by the CIA hackers.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's almost like the teardrop tattoo. You're letting everybody know that they know that you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, well, what about this one? This is what I think might be the most significant portion of all of this, and I think it comes down to this umbrage. What can you tell us about this part of the WikiLeaks dump, umbrage, and what it means regarding the Russian narrative that we've been hearing ad nauseum for months and months?
Yeah, well, this is the most insane of all. It's pretty clear that the CIA was doing it, and simply putting it on the Russians. But this part, this is what mystifies me about this, and something that I have to dig deeper into. The actual program used, for example, in the phishing part, there were two major programs involved. One was a phishing program, very sophisticated, that was actually created by a group called APT28. I mean, there are these large hacking organizations now have numbers and letters, but APT28, which is well known to be a Russian hacking group. However, the version that was used was a year and a half old, and it has been in the wild for a year and a half.
Ah, okay.
Meaning that it's been on the dark web, and every hacker in the world has a copy.
So this would be the equivalent to your phone number on the internet once you did that stunt. You put it out there. It's compromised. It's out there for everyone to use.
It's out there for everybody to use. So the fact that it was a year and a half old told me that, okay, now seriously, the state hackers within Russia can't possibly be stupid enough to target something as important as the DNC and then forget to use an updated copy of their malware. That's just beyond belief. However, it also is kind of beyond belief that our CIA would have made that slip in trying to point to the Russians. But maybe, here's just maybe, they've become so arrogant that they go, it doesn't matter. Just grab a copy of that old stuff and we'll blame it on the Russians. and they just picked up the wrong version. Why? Because it's not their malware. They did not develop it. They were not paying attention. So they are not gods, at least, even though at the moment, to many in the security community, they look like it. I mean, the miracles that they can perform with their software. For example, all of the encrypted chat programs, WhatsApp and so on.
Yeah.
It made absolutely no difference. They bypass everybody's encryption. Everybody's.
All of it.
And so, all of it, every piece. Well, I know how they do that. I demonstrated that myself last year. However, for them to be able to do this in a way that is totally not detected is mystifying, baffling, admirable, and certainly in a technological sense.
And John, there's a part of us that says we want our guys out there getting into North Korea's stuff. We want them to know what China's up to and what Russia's doing. We need that information.
Yes, no question. But we also need to protect ourselves from the use of that weaponized software against us as American citizens, as American businesses, as American enterprises. Surely, we have to have that safeguard. It's like having in the Pentagon the weapons program to develop the first megaton nuclear weapon and say, well, let's test it on Kansas City. It's exactly the same thing. Only they're not testing; they're actually using it live for their own purposes, for their own gain, for their political machinations and ambitions. Now, this is what boggles my mind. This has gone way beyond what George Orwell had ever anticipated when he wrote 1984. Way beyond that. Because in 1984, you could hide in the corner of the room, which is where the hero or anti-hero of the novel wrote his diary.
Yeah, the telescreen can't quite get to you in the corner.
Yeah, that's right, in the corner. Also, you could go outside the city and hide in the woods. Try doing that when you're carrying your cell phone with you. So, no, it's overwhelming. It's omnipresent. It is grayish black, no matter what view you want to take of it. There is no way to look at this in a light that uplifts the human spirit or uplifts any sanctity of life. No, this is horrific.
Well, let's talk about horrific, because there's another component that came out in this WikiLeaks dump. You guys, Vault 7, just take a look around. This is what the internet is here for. It's infinite information while we have it. Let's talk about it, because Michael Hastings, this is something you and we've discussed in the past, and it came out that well, I'm not sure the best way to phrase this, but that the CIA had been working on ways to remotely gain access to vehicles and make assassinations look differently. So what can you tell us about that, what we've learned today on that?
Yeah, okay, so a year and a half ago, it was demonstrated in Wired magazine through an organized and arranged story how you could hack into a Jeep and remotely take full control of it. Well, the CIA can take full control over any automobile produced that has online capabilities in the past 4 years. Every vehicle, whether it's foreign or whether it is domestic.
This is going to be the death of the industry. This is going to be the death of the industry.
They have the ability to poison our water supplies remotely using internet. And how do you do it? By tapping into the chlorination system so that you add so much chlorine in such a short period of time that all of your pipes rot out and start leaching in all the poisons that are outside the safety of those pipes. No, all of this stuff is in there. I mean, it's like weaponized software, not just to spy on us, but to destroy us, if so desired.
Wow. Yeah, that's why this stuff is real. That's why it's real important. That's why, I don't know, I think that's why a lot of people work so hard and do what they do and spend the amount of time researching, because I think we see a wolf outside the gates. I think we see trouble on the horizon. We see dangers, and that is the problem with the Edward Snowden, with the Julian Assange. It is, well, by releasing this, you're giving our our worst enemies with the biggest firepower and opportunity here. You know, and I can understand and appreciate that. However, that Fourth Amendment is pretty damn sacred to me, and there's supposed to be clear-cut guidelines. There are supposed to be checks and balances and buffers between, like you said, the government turning its eyes inward onto the citizen. And that's why I wanted to get back to one of the things you originally brought up here about the dismantling of the CIA, something that Trump might be doing here, what might be an intelligence agency civil war. Why is it so important that this be dismantled, John?
Well, I think you said it by saying, you know, they're supposed to be focusing on our biggest enemies. Given the information that was just put out, who would you say our biggest enemy is? Our enemy. We, as U.S. citizens. Has the Russia done this to us? No, not to my knowledge. They have more important things to do, I think. No, our government has done this to us. They are our worst enemy. Please, people, wake up. You know, they keep on pointing out, but the enemy, with Edward Snowden and WikiLeaks and these people are helping the enemy. Well, you are the enemy. Please. You are the enemy. Wake up and do something about yourself before the American citizens do something. Like, why do we vote these idiots into office to begin with? And please, God, let Trump have one shred of self-respect and character so that he will do something. And I think he will, because, by the way, he was a recipient of this as well during the campaign. Obama had instructed the CIA to bug all of Trump's offices and campaign quarters and the Trump Towers. Good God Almighty, people, who is our enemy here?
So you're willing to take the information that we have and just put it out there and say, I know enough from what has been reported to know that Obama and the CIA, on one level or another, however it was communicated, it was definitely given the green light to spy on the opposition candidate during the middle of a presidential campaign. You're at that point.
Yes, absolutely, without any shadow of a doubt. And by the way, we didn't even need WikiLeaks to tell us that they have already dug up the court records where Obama requested this information, denied once, and then given the red light later. Given the green light later. So yes, absolutely, this is true. This is not some gossip that I'm talking about here. Look into this yourselves, people. This is another thing we have to do. We have to wake up and stop believing everybody else and start using our own heads. You have enough information here in WikiLeaks that you can do some searches and see the truth of this yourself. But many of us prefer to stay blind, where you have to actually believe something rather than see something. You know, only blind people have to believe in sunlight, because if you experience sunlight, belief has nothing to do with that experience. It is an objective reality that you simply cannot doubt, and this is the same thing. Go onto your computers, get that WikiLeaks report, dig into it, spend 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 hours, and if you spend that much, you're not going to get out of it. It's trying to stop watching Black Sails in the middle of the last episode. You can't do it. It is that entertaining on a very sick, dark level.
I've never seen anything like this. This is what is happening at the CIA. It's a civil war amongst itself, or what? Just okay. How about this? John McAfee for dummies.
Go ahead.
John McAfee explaining it for dummies. The whole Russian thing. Who's spying on who? Who authorized what? What are just the main bullet points of this timeline here? What got started? What's happening? How is the CIA eating itself? How do you see it playing out? Just down to brass tacks here, just in the core components of this story. What is this about?
All right. Well, you know, at the risk of alienating one half of the American public, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I think the Oval Office reached during the Obama administration, and I'm not blaming Obama specifically, but just the Oval Office, that the power and reach of that office reached such a level that the person sitting in that chair got sucked into what we've been warned about for, 5,000 years, that power corrupts. And absolute power corrupts absolutely. And during Obama's administration, and there's been 8 years of incredible technological growth in cybersecurity and weaponized software and malware during that 8 years, finally understood, good heavens, I could rule the world. I could rule the world. And I saw it when the FBI first brought suit against Apple and demanded a master key that they could access every phone in the world. Every phone in the world. And the smoothness of Mr. Rogers, the FBI mouthpiece, who I debated on CNN, was so unbelievably polished. It was frightening. When I found out I was going to be debating him, I went and looked at some of his videos on Fox and ABC and CBS and everybody else.
Do you think this guy could have been? Do you think the guy you debated could have actually been an artificial intelligence, CIA created cyborg that already knew your moves 2 steps in advance, like a master chess player?
No,
like Watson?
He didn't, because here was the mistake. It was so polished. It was so polished that they made the following mistake. They believe that if we're polished enough, and this is our opening argument, and his argument was this: well, listen, you have to give up a certain degree of privacy in order to have security, please. And he said it just like that. So, but he had said it on every single station he was on. So I go, in my mind, I'm not playing that game. We are not going down that path,
right? Because
he will slaughter me if I go down to privacy versus security. So I didn't. Instead, I structured my own attitude, and when he went first and he said, Mr. McAfee, seriously, do you actually believe that we can give you the security that you need without you giving up some of your privacies? And I go, I don't know. It never occurred to me. That's not my problem. Nor is that the thing I wanted to discuss. What I want to discuss is security versus less security. Because if you get the key to open every iPhone on the world, that will be in the hands of hackers within weeks. And you know it, sir. And he was kind of stunned. You could see his programming went, glitch, now what? So he just gently tries to pull me back to reality and says, well, yes, well, of course, but really, sir, be honest about the privacy and security. I said, I don't know about that. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in you making me less secure. We went on for 15 minutes. So that level of arrogance, where you think you know everything about everybody and you know exactly what to do. Well, they may know everything about everybody, but they haven't figured out exactly what to do yet. Thank God, that is our only hope.
Yeah, and so how does this shake out? I know we only had you for about a half hour, so we'll start wrapping this up. So how does this all shake out? Knowing what we know now, how deep does this go? Does Trump survive the administration, or is he going to be JFK'd? Are any repercussions going to come of Valerie Jarrett and Barack Obama?
Okay, I met with Rosie Gauji today. I don't know if you know who she is. You people should Google her. A fascinating woman. She was the woman who, very well known, a journalist who accidentally, in the late 1990s, married a Syrian terrorist. Found out about it after she had 2 children, and the man came home and said, I will kill you if you do not, you and the children, if you don't convert to the Muslim faith. She went to the FBI. The FBI didn't believe her. She hired lawyers, filed for divorce. It became a nationwide, headline thing. And then she began working for Donald Trump in various in his campaign, and actually founded the Working Mothers for Trump organization, which is a nationwide organization now. So she came, and we spent 2 hours talking today. A brilliant, brilliant woman, and both she and I agreed. The real problem in America now is how do we keep Donald Trump alive? Because he's our only hope, and maybe he's not our hope. But we have nobody else, because everybody else has already been dipped in the ink of this power corruption thing. Not that Trump does not have power, but it's a different type, and it's certainly not the political power that Obama has been blessed with for the past 8 years. No, So that's it. How do we keep his ass alive? Because if we don't, we are doomed. And now that the CIA has been outed, do you not think that the most dangerous, when I say dangerous, I mean in a really insidious way, someone able to remove you without a trace and without question, do you think that the most dangerous organization in America, which has just been outed and is likely to be chastised beyond description by the current president, do you not think that right here, right now, wherever they are sitting, that they're contemplating how best we remove this bastard?
They're probably thinking about a way to blow up an American airline and then blame it on the Cubans.
Yeah. Well,
so
that's
to speak.
Something else the CIA can do. They can really hack into your airlines and crash them. That's another thing that they can do.
Yeah, but you're onto something there. That we are probably pretty close to that cornered animal lashing out one last time because it knows it's done.
Yes.
What do we do with that?
Absolutely. And it's done. When I started out by saying this, the CIA has been nuked. It has been nuked. And those remaining in the bomb shelters, which are certainly the commanders and the forward thinkers, I know, are considering this. You know human nature, my friends. You know human nature. You know this is happening as I speak. And probably I'm on that list too now. So
I've been on that list for a few years, John. I'm okay with it. It is what it is. It
is what it is. So yes, how do I think it's going to shake out? In the most horrific fashion, no matter which way it shakes out. But please, God, let it be in the way that gives us as American citizens at least the opportunity to retrieve our dignity, our privacy, our fundamental humanity from the government that we have created in the image of us. And that's the other problem, in the image of us. Because we are all what the government is in a tiny little way. We all have love and hope and dreams, and at the same time we have fear and greed and animosity and jealousy. Well, you know, when people get angry, a bloody nose results. When government gets angry, what happens? Entire civilizations are wiped out. When people get greedy, you stop inviting them to dinner. When government gets greedy, nations starve. So governments are us, magnified by the power we choose to give them. Let's take that power back.
I like that.
And I'm sorry, I have to run.
Indeed. John, thank you so much for your time. Tell everybody what you're up to, where they can follow you in the months to come.
Oh, yeah. I'm on Twitter at least once a day, not as much as Trump. My Twitter handle is official McAfee. I have the same handle on Facebook. You can always get me there. If you want to call me voice, dig out that Business Insider article from last year. It's got my phone number published in it, and the title of the article is from John McAfee. Here's my phone number. Don't call me. So there you have it, sir. And thank you very much for inviting me on.
Excellent. John, you have a great day. There's nobody we would rather speak to on a day like this than someone who's spent so much time in this world. So thank you so much for taking a few minutes, and we will do this again soon. You have a great night.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, there he goes, everybody. Man, you know, it's so challenging on days like this because I am a proponent. I am a big fan of the long-form interview, and it's like you just want to get into peel back every layer of the onion. And sometimes you go, man, all right, I don't know. There's too much going on, and you just chop the thing into a couple pieces and just, all right, what do we got? That's what we had with John McAfee just there. And thank you so much, John. I really appreciate the third opportunity you've taken to talk with us here at the TNAM Radio Network at TheNewAmericanMedia.com. Whew, my. You know, I think I'm going to be able to do shows about this for a while, but man, what if this is the final laugh of Michael Hastings? If you're not familiar with Michael Hastings, you can look up, I know I did a show with John B. Wells about it. I think I talked with John McAfee about it, but he was the Rolling Stone journalist and worked with BuzzFeed. And then mysterious car crash. And then what came out today with the WikiLeaks data dump was that, well, they can take over your car and make you go 115 miles an hour and smash into a palm tree. I wonder about that CIA story that he was ready to release and what was in there. Is it similar to what just happened with WikiLeaks? I don't know. But I'm telling you, for anybody in power, and I use that in air quotes, that is borrowed power. You want to live a good life? Hey, you live a good life. You better be doing that the libertarian way without harming other people, because it's over. It's over. Your reign of terror is over. It's time to build a different planet. And I know that you're out there thinking some of the same stuff, or else you wouldn't have found this program. You wouldn't be listening to us right now if a part of you didn't have hope. Now, I don't mean that phony baloney hope from Barack Obama, who appears to be waist deep in radioactive waste here. Well, using waste twice in the same sentence. Good one. Look, there's so much information to sift through on this. I encourage you to sign up and join all of our different social media platforms. Do a search for The New American Media on Facebook. We're at American_media_ on Twitter. TheNewAmericanMedia.com, of course. But subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to YouTube.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. That's one of the best places to stay. Actually, it's all good. And Instagram. Instagram.com/TheNewAmericanMedia. Really, check out John McAfee. He's a brilliant mind. We appreciate the hell out of him joining our program today. My name's Brian Engelman. I appreciate each and every one of you for listening. We will talk again soon. Stay safe. Peace.
Hi, everybody. You're listening to Agree to Disagree with Brian Engelman, and this is John B. Wells reminding you that not only is Brian Engelman a cool guy, and not only is TheNewAmericanMedia.com a very cool platform, but here's a cool idea for you, too. Are you alone? Not really. Do you like dogs? Do you like cats? You do. Of course you do. Everybody does. One or the other, maybe even both. You know, there are a lot of dogs and cats that are at shelters right now, and if somebody doesn't take them home, they're going to wind up euthanized. That's a nice way of saying they're going to be killed, because there's simply not enough room. I guarantee it, the best dogs and the best cats, the best pets, come from shelters. There's something about dogs and cats. They know. They know where they are. You walk through one of them, and certainly at least one is going to look at you and go, I wish you'd take me home. I'm in hell. Please take me out of here. It'll be the best thing that you ever did for your soul. You'll feel good about it. And not only that, but you have a friend for life. Doesn't matter if you got money, you don't have money. Well, it doesn't make any difference to a dog or cat. All they need is the sound of your voice and maybe even the stroke of your hand, and they're fine. Maybe a little food every once in a while. The sweetest sound that those pets ever hear is your voice. Think it over and adopt a cat or a dog from a local shelter today. I'm telling you, you'll be glad you did.